Our challenge now is no longer about awareness, it's about action. And so what does that mean for us? It means like they try to censor Facebook, Instagram, so on. They're still censoring, but they know it's not actually gonna like make much of a difference now. Like they've kind of given up. And many of these Zionist leaders have straight up said, like, yeah, we lost Gen Z, we lost these, like, there's no recovering from this in terms of awareness, right? But the latest challenge we're gonna see now, I think, is what I call co-optation. Co-optation being where uh, a certain agenda is being pushed for a free Palestine, and a party is going to come and co-opt it and say, okay, yeah, we support y'all, and here's what the solution looks like to kind of drive the movement away. Uh, I'm sure you remember the George Floyd moment from 2020. Okay, what did we see happen? There were a lot of protests and resistance at a very strong level all over the nation, and you were seeing a lot of educational programming questioning where did police come from? Why do they exist? This and this. Maybe they are rotten at the core. Maybe it's not about just a few bad officers, right? All this like deep, intrinsic, like questioning that like really questions the core identity in a lot of ways of the US itself. And what happened? We saw corporations come in, the government come in and say, you're right, we support y'all with this. Let's donate to black-owned businesses. Let's have Nike run a few ads. Let's do this. You had NBA players about to go on a historic strike where they would literally not play, which have huge ramifications. The NBA is no like small league at all by any means. And what happened? Barack Obama calls them and says, "Hey guys, I think this is a bad idea. Maybe do this instead, so you can get more actionable items done, and blah blah blah. We'll do some donations to these organizations, all this stuff." And all of a sudden, they were able to again, the elites and government came in, co-opted a movement. Why? To put a cap to it, to put a ceiling on it, so that it could not achieve what it wants to. And right now, and to come in the next few years, I think we're going to see a very similar challenge where it's, oh, recognize the state of Palestine, make this your ceiling. When in reality, they'll look at a map, recognize what? Gaza's been destroyed for the most part, the West Bank, and controlled by who? And it's like a very silly predicament, you know? And we're going to see Palestinian influencers being propped up as being our heroes. That because they're spreading awareness, but there's no real discussion about action. How does this affect the U.S.? What do we actually do to stop Zionism? That's it. They want to think about individuals and awareness as opposed to actual, systems. And I told a friend, don't be surprised if we see a Nike Kofiya hijab released in the next 5, 6 years, and some big mainstream corporations and movies coming out about XYZ because the master wants to tell the servant how to resist and put a ceiling. That's kind of how I view it, tying all the way back to the slaves who were told only specific verses in the Bible.